Sanders, can you make a simple, persuasive case as to why socialism is preferable to capitalism?
Democratic socialism, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me tell you what I mean by that so we're clear. Right now, we have a nation which prides itself on a lot of political rights. In other words, under the Constitution, thank God you have freedom of speech. Media can do its thing, even though Trump calls you an enemy of the people. How does that feel to be an enemy? That's another story. All right. I won't question Wolf.
You don't think we are, though?
No, I don't. Okay. I certainly do not. So we have political right, freedom of religion, and all of that is enormously important. But you know what we don't have? We don't have guarantees regarding economic rights. And way back in 1944, in a little-known, a little publicized State of the Union speech, Franklin Delano Roosevelt said something, and I'm paraphrasing him, but he said, you know, when we talk about human freedom and rights, we've got to understand that everybody needs a decent paying job, that people need health care, that people need education. And all over the world, these ideas are taking place. You go to countries in Scandinavia, of course, health care is a right. Higher education is free. They have strong preschool programs. They make sure that their elderly folks can retire in dignity. These are not radical ideas. So what democratic socialism means to me is having in a civilized society the understanding that we can make sure that all of our people live in security and in dignity. Healthcare is a human right. All people should have healthcare. You can't get ahead in this country, in this world, unless you have a decent education. We have got to, as a right, end the kinds of discrimination, the racism and the sexism and the homophobia that exist. So to me, when I talk about democratic socialism, what I talk about are human rights and economic rights.
Senator, President Trump said in his State of the Union address, and I'm quoting him now, America, this is the president, America will never be a socialist country. Will that hold true if you're elected president?
If I am elected president, we will have a nation in which all people have health care as a right, whether Trump likes it or not. We are going to make public colleges and universities tuition free. We are going to raise the minimum wage to a living wage of at least $15 an hour. And whether Trump likes it or not, when I talk about human rights, you know what that also means? It means that our kids and grandchildren have the human right to grow up in a planet that is healthy and habitable. And it is really a disgrace and an embarrassment that we have a president who rejects science, who does not even understand that climate change is real and caused by human activity, who does not understand what this planet will look like in years to come if we do not go forward boldly and transform our energy system.
Oh, things are cooking in America's socialist kitchen. The Democrat primary season is almost a year away, but Bernie Sanders is already slated to nab the now coveted endorsement of the Democrat Socialists of America. And yesterday, self-proclaimed socialist Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez read her party the riot act at a closed-door caucus meeting. In not so many words, she told the old fogies either hop aboard her socialist train or get squished on the tracks.
Sources tell me that she did stand up and impassionately argued to those moderates who broke ranks and voted with Republicans yesterday, look, you can't do this, and that there will essentially be some sort of record keeping, track keeping, that their votes certainly will be known.
While others have laughed at AOC and her sister in socialism, Rashida Tlaib, I think they're the legitimate thought leaders of the Democrat Party. Think about this. Nancy Pelosi has been in Congress for 31 years and has 2.3 million Twitter followers. Ocasio-Cortez has been in Congress for 2 months and has 3.3 million followers. So the new socialists may be inexperienced, but they're bold, they're energetic, and they're determined to shake up their establishment. Now, I take them at their word. They want a complete transformation of American society that will require massive wealth confiscation, government takeover of certain industries, and an overthrow of the free market. And it is bizarre, though, isn't it, that this is the Democrats' answer to Trump's extraordinary economic record. He's presiding over the strongest economy in the world. And the timing of this socialist embrace is even more bizarre, given the fact that the same philosophy is in its death throes around the world. Europe's once dominant socialist parties have already cratered or on life support. And those most hospitable to socialist ideals are also in peril. Remember, in 2017, we saw a devastating near wipeout of the Socialist Party in France. And now, under Macron, the Yellow Vest protests are rocking Paris nearly every weekend. We saw crushing defeats of the Social Democrats in Germany and the Labour Party in the Netherlands. In Italy, the center-left imploded and opened the door to two populist parties. In 2018, German Prime Minister Angela Merkel, who made the now highly unpopular decision to resettle millions of refugees across the EU, was embarrassed when her Social Democrats lost more seats. In Sweden, the refugee issue dominates politics, and its Social Democrat-led government lost support, leading to a hodgepodge there and a weakened coalition. In the UK, the Labour Party is in a shambles, even as the Tories have mishandled Brexit. In Brazil, the Workers' Party lost the presidential election to Bolsonaro, a right-wing populist. And Venezuela, well, of course, that's a complete disaster and on the verge of collapse. Presumably, AOC and Tlaib and Sanders are aware of these developments. So is their argument going to be, oh, don't worry, trust us, because all of those countries got socialism wrong, but we'll get socialism right? President Trump has a phenomenal opportunity to continue the conversation he started about socialism at the State of the Union. And as Larry Kudlow said at CPAC yesterday,
join us to put socialism on trial and then convict it.
And by the way, Larry will be with us later in the hour. You do not want to miss this appearance. But conservatives, Republicans, and President Trump, there's nothing to panic about. This is a moment. We should relish this moment. They should spend the time to listen to and speak with the young people, Latinos, African Americans, whom the left is targeting. Because under socialist policies, they'll be the ones who will be hurt most. And AOC and Tlaib, well, they'll just move on to their next con job. And that's the angle.